Hello and welcome to my initiative proposal. I'm going to be talking to you about my thoughts on comprehensive assessments and interventions. My guiding question is one I think is very important, which is how can we design and implement a comprehensive assessment system in math that will effectively inform teacher instruction and improve student learning? Other supporting questions worth considering are what universal assessment tools, strategies, and systems are already available, and what needs to be designed or implemented. What universal designs for learning are currently in place to meet the range of learning needs, and how might a comprehensive assessment program help inform this process? Also, how can we support and encourage families to become more involved in their child's numeracy development, bridging the homeschool gap? The challenge that I identified is that, we intuitively know where our students are in their numeracy, but we have no concrete data to support or defend this. While we have reading and writing assessments that inform us on students' literacy skills, we have no systematic way to assess fundamental numeracy skills in a way that informs instruction and or identifies specific learning gaps or, building blocks for our struggling learners. As we know, the RTI All Some Few model allows educators to understand and categorize the needs of their students in order to tailor instruction, supports, interventions. This model assumes roughly that around 80% of students fall under Tier 1, 15% under Tier 2, and 5% under Tier 3. Students in Tier 2 require targeted supports, while Tier 3 students benefit from more intensive individualized interventions. Based on observation and intuition, I would assume that at our school, the model would look more like this: 30% in Tier 1, 40% in Tier 2, and 30% in Tier 3. The number of students that would fall under Tiers 2 and 3 far exceeds what the RTI model accounts for, and we need to really think about how we can restructure our supports to reflect this. So how did we get here? Is it a societal thing? Is literacy more valued than numeracy? Have we been brainwashed to think that not being good at math is normal or acceptable? Do teachers' anxieties and biases impact how they teach math? I don't think there is one answer to that. We need to bear in mind some precursive factors that likely play a role. Parents read to their children from a very young age, but practicing numeracy skills is not nearly as common. Reading, talking, storytelling, nursery rhymes, these are much more intuitive for parents to take on, but math is way less clear, and it's often assumed to be something that's just taught in elementary school. Research has shown that early math skills can be crucial to students' overall school careers. In fact, math skills in kindergarten have been found to be the best predictors of academic performance by grade 8, even more than early reading scores, attention, or social emotional development. And this is regardless of gender, race, or family income. The socioeconomic gaps that we see in early literacy are evident in math too. This stems from little exposure to math-related words and the amount of number talks that children engage in from a young age. Parent anxieties and negative self-beliefs around math also have an incredible effect on how their child views math. This is evident across the board, but is notably profound in low SES families. And when we look at the overall demographic of our school, most of our children come from these homes. Math is a cumulative discipline, like building blocks. You have to gain understanding of one concept before you can build on it. When students are asked to move on with a shaky foundation, they will really struggle and ultimately topple. Literacy assessments have been tailored to help identify decoding and phonetic gaps, and interventions are used to build up reading and writing foundations, but in math spans across many concepts and it's more complex to assess. As a result, we are failing to identify and help build these foundational blocks for our students. What can or should we do? Well, we need to develop a comprehensive assessment system that will inform us of where these blocks are missing so that we can accurately target and teach specific skills. There is a lot of content to cover in math, so we need to look at the sequence and progression of skills that fall along a numeracy continuum. I like to think of this system as incorporating 3 C's. It needs to be consistent, cohesive, and communal. And by this, I mean that everyone should know how to administer it and understand how to use the results to support student learning. We also need to remove grade level from our expectations and focus on student skills and understanding. If a student in grade 6 doesn't understand fundamental place value concepts, we can hardly expect them to multiply with decimals. In order for all of this to happen, we need to work collaboratively as a team. We need to invite district math specialists to support and guide us through this process, and we need to dedicate time and resources to developing something that is reliable, valid, bias-free, and accessible to all learners. There will be obstacles. This cannot happen solely after school and on weekends. We're going to need release time and Pro D days to work on this. We can assume that there will be costs involved for materials and other resources. A separate budget discussion should definitely be planned. Teacher buy-in is going to be something to think about. You know, we're a small school and a cooperative staff, but we wear a lot of hats and each of us takes on a lot of responsibilities. This is a big endeavor and it'll require restructuring how math is taught, and it might be difficult to thoroughly embed into practice. There's also going to be competing demands. You know, as mentioned, our small staff carries many responsibilities and our to-do lists are unending. On top of this, unexpected challenges and crises will likely emerge, and we're going to have to prioritize them over this initiative. What can we start today? Well, we need to shift the mindset that math is an innate ability and that we're simply good or bad at it. We need to model a enthusiastic attitude towards math and foster self-efficacy in our students. We need to inform parents. We need to encourage simple daily math talks at home. You know, how many cars do you see in the parking lot? How many Cheerios do you think are in your bowl? How much will our groceries cost? We need to explain to parents how the art projects and board games and puzzles that their kids play at school and do at school relate to math skills. We could suggest some online resources or easily accessible materials that will help support math practice at home too. We need to be sensitive to the individual learners and where they are in their learning. We need to focus on the skills and competencies and not just the student's grade. We need to acknowledge what they can do already and implement a UDL approach to current planning and instruction. Let's revisit the question. How can we design and implement a comprehensive assessment system in math that will effectively inform teacher instruction and improve student learning? Well, I know that's a bit of a mouthful, so let's break it down. First, we need to design and implement the assessment system. Hopefully, that will inform teacher instruction, which in turn will improve the student learning. As I discussed, there are many pieces to this puzzle, and it will require a lot of collaboration and innovation. I'm sure you agree with me that this is an important initiative to take on, and I'm hopeful that we can begin the process soon. Thanks for listening and watching.